Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. This is part 2 of our great interview with our awesome coroner, Buddy Bryan. Thank you so much for giving me so much of your time. I know you were up late last night. I just think you stand up and sleep. I don't know how you do it. No, because you know you're everywhere, you and your team, and I understand that you had about a 6-hour call last night, and you had to stay until that was all done, and I just appreciate you blessing us with this time.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning my team, because
Well,
that's exactly what it is.
it's
It's
a
teamwork.
team. It has to be.
Hey, let's not depend on them, they depend on me, and we
Yeah,
are
and
a team.
this whole group that has
Yes, ma'am.
over time,
Develop.
and they have to sacrifice their families,
Yes, ma'am.
sleep, social life.
We don't have a life.
No, if you're on call, you can't hang out over there. You can't even cut your grass because you got what? You got that 20-minute rule ready to go and show up. Because as you said to me, families don't understand. For them, 20 minutes probably seem like 20 hours.
Long time.
When
Yes, ma'am.
when you're in crises like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you have thought of all of that. And in our sidebar conversation, I just listening to you speak of your mother and your grandmother, that says that they trained you up right. They trained you up
My
right
mother was
because
a
you care about
disciplinarian.
people. You have survival skills, life skills. You can cook, you can clean, you can iron.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they were preparing you for the world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love them, they love me, and we hung out. Let's just put it that way. My mother taught school here in Columbus 35 years.
Okay,
Same classroom, 5th grade at Fox Elementary.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
And Fox Elementary is still around.
Yes, ma'am.
And she was a teacher,
5th grade.
5th grade.
Disciplinarian.
Okay, strict.
You better be sitting on that couch doing your homework when your daddy gets home. type thing.
Okay, all right. So that's where you got that good work ethic.
That's, yeah, ma'am.
And fully committed.
Be at the breakfast table with everybody, be at the dinner table with everybody, and be in church 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay, and what church did you grow up in?
Well, we varied, but it was Oaks Avenue Baptist Church.
So you a Baptist?
Oh, well,
As a child, you were a Baptist.
as a child, I was
right.
a Baptist.
That's where all
I'm
of
in
your
a
morals.
denomination now.
Right. So when we're growing up, though, that's where they are training us up. So they trained you up in the Baptist church, and then as we become adults and have our families, we might worship in other places. But that's where you got the moral fiber.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, they trained you up. And so it shows when you're out dealing with people.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why you have the fear of God. Like you said, you prayed before you decided to run for this seat. And the Spirit of the Lord said, this is what you got to do.
Brought me
So
full
it's
circle.
really a calling.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not a job.
Absolutely.
It's a calling.
It's a call.
And you have to be fully committed because what you were doing something that paid you more money before this. So this is thankless, and you won't get rich.
No, ma'am, not by any means.
You won't be buying a beach house with this out of it.
No, ma'am, not by the beach out. If I did, I wouldn't have time to go.
Exactly right, because we're working so hard.
Yes, ma'am.
So in order to get the things that you need, I want to know what your wish list is. I know we're going to be moving into the budget period. And for our viewers that don't understand that, elected officials have to put a budget together, and then you go before city council. And it's like being a lawyer, you have to plead your case.
Unbelievable. I'll go before the budget committee Tuesday at 11:15. We go into a room, we've already got our budget put together. Malika, my administrative coordinator, does the budget. I look over it, we review it, and we do our line items. What we need, what we want, what we gotta have.
So the line items would be like staffing, supplies,
Right,
office
education.
supplies, education, continuing education,
That's right.
vehicles,
Maintenance.
and all of that stuff.
Right, so we got that, and we do it. Then I go and I sit before the mayor, the city manager, and then the budget committee. And of course, someone from finance is there. I spill the beans. This is what I want, this is what I need, I got to have it. You know, I cry and I put the violin and everything. That do any good.
Don't do any good.
Don't do a dang bit of good. And then about 4 weeks later, they send me my budget. This is what you got.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
All right. Okay. That's what I want to follow. So you prepare the budget based on what you and your team
Know that we need.
know that this is what you need to be successful. Provide the best services
Right.
to the citizens of Columbus. And since you took this office as an elected official, we have grown from less than 200,000 to over 200,000, 208,000, because I worked for the Census Bureau,
Yes,
the 2010 and the 2020 census, so I know the
Right.
population group. But you are basing your budget on what you need as of now,
Absolutely.
not for when you first came into the seat.
That's correct.
And then they adjust it and
Mhm.
hand it back to you and say, this is what we agreed to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not what you actually originally requested.
Absolutely not. Now, let me tell you a little something. Every year, for the last 9 years, in March, I have to go back before the council and ask for more money because they didn't give me what I asked for to begin with. And I keep telling them, if you'll give me what we need, you
Right.
won't see me here in March and April
Right, so
asking
you
for
keep
more
coming
money.
up short. And
Yeah.
you have to go back to the well.
Well, absolutely. Gas has gone up, body bags have gone up. Well, we were paying $11 for a body bag. Now we're paying $35.
Well, everything has gone
Everything's
up. Even
gone up.
chicken wings have gone up.
Except for my budget.
Right.
They have flatlined me on my budget. They give me little bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Council people, I'm telling the truth. Y'all know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to look at them and let them know that.
Right.
Uh,
And then we have all of this monies that the federal government they have pushed into the community.
and we didn't get any of that COVID money. We asked for it because we're part of public safety. We didn't get any. Not a bit. And we're out there putting body bags left and right, transported to Atlanta to the crime lab.
Right, and
They
then
didn't
you
give us
had
any.
the experience of going to 2 homes, pronouncing people who died from COVID.
And I came that close to dying.
And then you ended up contracting COVID. And that's
Absolutely.
that's public service.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
is.
public safety.
It is. And I.
So maybe we need to do a special presentation, put together a PowerPoint, and you get on the public agenda. And then sometimes you have to, your mother was a teacher, you might have to have a teachable moment. I'm just, because sometimes people think they know and they don't know. And before today, I've never really just looked at everything that you did when you said, well, I spent 6 hours on a case. Because we always think about the shooting. So in my mind, I was like, well, there wasn't anybody shot last night. But then you were on a different call. There was a shooting, but a different type of shooting.
I was on a suicide.
And 6 hours.
Those are pretty tough when you have to let a wife know that her husband committed suicide. Or a mother and daddy know that their son committed suicide.
Exactly.
Or their daughter overdosed on drugs. That's the most difficult part of my job, but God leads me through it.
Right. So those are the things we have to factor in.
Right.
Yeah, and those are different calls. Right.
They are, and Gloria, they just are coming around a little bit slowly.
Right.
About my budget, but I look at Augusta. I compare our community to Augusta, and that's the only people I can compare it to.
Exactly.
He's got a $500,000 budget. He does less death investigations. He's got more deputies. We get a $300,000 budget with more calls,
Right.
fewer deputies.
And
it just don't balance
it
out.
doesn't balance out.
Now
Okay.
they finally gave me an increase in pay. I got to give them the good go. They finally increased my pay to where it's substantial.
Right. Well, whatever that is, because you gave up a 6-digit job.
Well, yes, ma'am. I ain't got that far yet.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is go to our break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. The Columbus Memory Center, 7196 North Lake Drive, Suite A, Columbus. Dr. Jonathan Liss is a board-certified neurologist and sleep specialist committed to battling Alzheimer's by preserving independence, offering you the opportunity to get your memory number for free, the only vital sign for brain health. Call today at 706-327-4000 or visit columbusmemorycenter.com.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this very important conversation with our awesome coroner, Buddy Bryan. So before we went to the break, you were saying that you compare your budget and what you do to Augusta, which they're consolidated government as well. And they are right there with us, because I know during the census that we were jockeying back and forth to make sure that all of our people got counted so we would not lose our position in terms of the ratings of the cities, in terms of population size. So in Augusta, you were sharing with me on air and then a sidebar that they have fewer cases, their budget is greater, and they have more staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And he made more money than me.
And they make more money than
Right.
you. Okay, so we need to fix that. Now, that's Gloria Strode's opinion, which may or may not be true. No, but I believe that for the amount of work and how we have grown, and just as broad as Muscogee County is, and with all the things, I just want the community to know and our leaders to know. And I'm not running for anything, so, you know, it is what it is. But for the work that you do, not just the violent crimes on the street, because we'll always hear about that in the news. And I know one weekend you were very busy, and unfortunately we made national news with that. No, we did, and then people were calling me. My husband's relatives from the West Coast, I have friends from the Pacific Northwest. People like, what are you all doing? I thought that was a quiet military town. And so, so we know about the violent crime. But we can't take for granted the work that you and your team are doing when people are sick at home and they die, or there are suicides, or car accidents, or things like that. You still got to show up.
Got to be there, be present, and represent. That's what I feel about it.
Right. And so we've had a big debate. I shared this with you this morning, where people on social media, you had citizens pleading your case. When you were interviewed by the Ledger Enquirer, which we know that's the official organ for our area, the newspaper, and they were talking, they had interviewed you, and you were saying that you use U-Hauls because you're making so many trips back to Atlanta to the crime lab. And so people were stunned about that. So how many vehicles do we have for transport? Are they current? Are they too old? They're not big enough? Why are we having to do that?
Well, Gloria, everything is grown. We're not a one-horse town any longer.
Exactly.
You know, I inherited a van. It's just a regular old white van. Inherited it when I was elected. We've been using it, and we've been running it back and forth to Atlanta, back and forth to Atlanta, back and forth to Atlanta. 250, 300,000 miles on this specific van.
Really?
Well, what has happened is we've been sending it down to maintenance, and they've been putting Band-Aids on it, try to keep it on the road. But this last month or so, it just basically died. And Mr. Owens down there, who's over fleet, says, I'm taking that van off the street.
Okay.
It's not safe for you to be driving it, or any of your people to be driving. It's not good to have remains in the back of it.
No.
Fuel leaking out of the engine and so forth. He took it he just took it off the street.
So you had that same vehicle since you took office?
Right, yes,
It
ma'am.
was here when you came?
11 years that I've been here, yes ma'am.
Okay, and we know that when you buy American-made vehicles of any kind, they're not designed to last forever.
Right.
Okay.
But Mr. Owens has taken the initiative, and I'm proud of him, and he took the initiative to do some research and has found a company that can provide me with a van that's gonna be just right for us, because we're able to have 4 remains in there instead of 2, so that cuts down on the trips back and forth
Back
to
and
Atlanta.
forth, because what you had originally, it required more
2
trips.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, if we get a bigger van,
Right.
and you said it's going to be a special
Right,
retrofit,
special custom van.
custom, where it will,
It's got a high top on it, it's got two shelves.
so you can add more
I
of
can
the
have
remains.
2 remains on the bottom and 2 on the top, and it's hydraulic. So
So it'll be able to adjust.
it'll be able to adjust, and it'll save us, you know, from getting injured, trying to put more in there than necessary. So anyway, when it died, we asked the Columbus Police Department, EMS, the fire department, do y'all have a van we can use? Nobody had a van. Mr. Buddy, I want my son back. I want to have a funeral. I had no choice.
Right.
Smartest thing for me to do is rent a van to get these remains up there so my families can get closure
Exactly.
and can have a funeral.
Exactly.
So yes, I used U-Haul, and I'll continue to use them till I get a van for myself.
Okay, and so in this new budget cycle, you'll be asking for a new vehicle
Yes, ma'am.
because the other one has died.
Tuesday, I'll be right in front of, the budget committee and I'll
You'll
be
be asking for it.
asking
But
for
we
it.
should have been, wise enough to know if we're getting new cars
Mhm,
and fleet cars
mhm.
and staff cars, and I see them all over town. I'm
Mhm.
not hating because we pay our taxes and I want to live in a safe city.
Mhm.
But I've seen new cars in other areas, inspections and all of those people, then we should have been prepared and have multiple cars for what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
When we had 7 people shot in one night, I'm just saying.
Right, right.
This is not rocket science.
No, ma'am.
No, it isn't. And so that's a lot. That's a lot of stress on you.
Yes, ma'am.
Your team, in my opinion, is not big enough, but who cares what I think, but that's my opinion. I'm old enough to have one. And then you don't have enough transportation. So when you're calling the U-Haul people, how is that working? Because I
Well,
can just
you know,
imagine.
Everybody knows who I am. If I call and say, this is Buddy Bryan, the coroner, I need to rent a van, they ask me, you gonna be transporting bodies? Yes, I'm gonna be
So
transporting
you're
bodies.
transparent about that.
I'm very transparent about it, but let me give credit where credit's due now.
Mhm.
Since all that has come to surface, the mayor and the city manager has backed me up, and they have assured me.
That they're
that
gonna help work this out.
Absolutely, and
Okay.
I'm thankful for that, and I'm sure the city council's gonna approve it.
Okay, well, that's what we need to
Yes,
hear,
ma'am.
because I tell you, the people in the community and on social
Yes,
media,
ma'am.
and when you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know.
Well,
But you are confident that you're gonna get everything that you need this go round.
absolutely confident, and I'm not embarrassed by the fact, because I did what was the right thing to do for my
Exactly.
families.
Absolutely,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
gotta take
There's no
care of the people.
stigmatism to being transported in a van, not when I look at what the funeral homes drive.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I love about you. Okay, what we're gonna do is take a break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors.
Apple Tax Services for the best in tax preparation. 7413 Whitesville Road, Columbus. Call for your appointment today at 706-243-2590 or 706-243-2595. And remember, an apple a day keeps the audits away. The law offices of Siobhan S. Thomas and Associates, 201 9th Street in Uptown Columbus, 706-350-7232. A veteran-owned law firm dedicated to equal rights and justice for all. Make Siobhan S. Thomas and Associates your first choice for legal services. Visit SiobhanThomas.com. The Miley Agency, 4903 Armour Road. Gerald L. Miley and William Ripsinger have been providing comprehensive reviews and insuring families in Georgia and Alabama for more than 50 years. The Miley Agency will work non-stop to find you the best policy at the best price. You can rest assured that your information is secure, confidential, and protected. Call today at 706-996-2045.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm enjoying this wonderful visit with Buddy Bryan. Just an amazing Columbus native son. He's worked so hard in the community, started at 14 years old in this industry, and grew up to become the coroner, serving the families all over the city. No big eyes, little U's, just treating everybody with love and respect. And that's what I just simply admire about you. And we have to keep you in this role until you decide you want to go off to Hollywood and do something different. You can have your own show. I promise you, you could. But anyway, just looking at the office today, such wonderful gifts.
Oh.
And the people that you've met over the years. And people wouldn't think in this role you would have folks that, you know, would want to give you a gift. But it's because of the care and the treatment and how you just handle the families. And so we've seen this wonderful, iconic picture of Ronald Reagan that someone blessed you with.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was someone that you met through this business.
Absolutely. I was present when her husband passed away, and she was a German lady, spoke very little English. I took her under my wings, and I took care of her until the day she died.
Really?
And she gave me that as a momentum for all the nice things I did for her, and you
And that
know,
was something she valued and she
very
wanted
much
to.
so.
Right.
That's an autographed sketch
Right.
of Ronald Reagan.
Exactly, of the former president.
Absolutely.
Yes, who has passed on.
Yeah.
And then you have others that are in a shadow box. And I
Uh-huh.
asked, I said, are you a bull rider too?
Yeah.
And you said, no, that was another family that
It
blessed you, but that you encountered on this
Her
journey.
husband had passed. I was present and pronounced and followed through with helping her make arrangements and get things taken care of because she had no knowledge of what to do and how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat down with her and I said, you need a will, you
Right.
need a power of attorney, and you need a health care power of attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So many people don't have that. Those are three of the most important papers
Right.
that you can have.
Yes.
So I helped her get that all set up, and also
Mhm.
a pre-arrangement. You get your
Mhm.
funeral in order, so when you do die,
Mm-hmm.
everything's set up.
And you don't have all the drama and the
And the
confusion.
expense, and
Right.
yes, she gave me those. Those were her husband. He was a world-class bull rider. And man, I
Really?
tell you what, I'm proud of them. They're beautiful. They're sterling silver.
Mhm.
Probably valuable, but they're more valuable to me hanging on my wall because
Exactly.
it reminds me of her.
Yes, but it reminds you too of the service and the
Oh,
relationships.
yes, and why?
And when you're a public servant and a
Uh-huh.
genuine public servant, because sometimes people are just photo op. They just,
Yeah.
as we say in Hollywood, they just a suit.
Yeah.
But in this role, it's not just a suit. So you're dealing with families, just
Yes.
not the science part, but the family relationships.
Oh,
And when you can come in at a time that's life changing,
Mhm.
in the middle of somebody's grief, and they think enough of you when it's all over to bless you with some of the beautiful things. We see that you have something, someone, New York. You
Mhm.
got a New York hat, and you got a crystal skull somebody gave you.
Cheryl Renee, her husband, Todd, gave me that crystal skull. I have a skull collection, and I know you see them. I've
Right.
got 2 human skulls, and no, they didn't come from my work at the coroner.
They didn't come.
I actually purchased those. One goes back to 1859, I believe. It's got a bullet hole in the right temple.
Really?
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
think it was somebody from the Wild Wild West?
Well, I'm thinking
Billy the Kid.
somebody got
Was it Billy the
executed or
Kid?
something, yes, ma'am.
Right.
And then you look at all my acclimates, all the certificates and awards.
Mhm.
You know, those are fine, those are the piece of paper, but then you just have to think about, why did you get that award?
Right.
At present, I'm the first vice president of the Georgia Coroners Association, and I'll be president next year, in October, I'll move into the presidency. Now, that's got some clout, let me tell you, when you're
So that's for the entire state
for
of
the
Georgia.
entire state. I'll be the president of that association. I'm already vice president. That means that the other coroners and deputy coroners in the state respect me.
Well, and
for what I
rightfully
do.
so. You've had your whole life, from
Yes,
age
ma'am.
14 to
Mhm.
today. You've not only had the professional training,
Mhm.
but you have a heart for the people.
That makes a
You
difference.
believe in honesty and integrity, and that's really why I admire you. And you know, you're elected official, and when you have to be on the ballot again.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna
Okay,
be.
well,
I was coroner of the year my first year as a coroner, and that.
well, people know the difference in quality. You know,
Well-
we know the difference between TV dinner and the one that was cooked on the stove.
It was what I did that won me that award, and I was so
Mm-hmm.
proud of that. And it was having to do with child fatality.
Right.
I promoted speaking at schools and about taking care of infants,
Mhm.
don't co-sleep, things of that nature.
Mhm.
That's why I got that recognition, because of my hard work for the pauper and indigent program here in Columbus, where
Right.
we'll take care of the remains and disposition, the
Mhm.
homeless people. I was active with them,
Mhm.
making sure that they gave the directors some contact name and phone number,
Right.
so if they're found dead on the street, I
Mhm.
can call somebody.
Right.
Those were 3 or 4 of my biggest accomplishments.
Right. But that still speaks to you having a heart for the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And then willing to do the education and going out to the
Mhm, mhm,
communities
mhm.
and speaking and all of that on top of standing up sleeping. Because I keep trying to figure out, when do you sleep?
I might
'Cause I
doze
see
off
you
out here
everywhere.
talking to you.
I know, but we know that Bella, she keeps you
Mhm.
company. That's your beagle.
Della, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
My
so
love.
she is in that recliner with you whenever you get to sit in that lazy boy, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know who snores the most, she or me.
Well, she's tired because you're tired.
Right.
And certainly, I just want to say that I appreciate you doing this. I feel very blessed that you would take the time. I know that you're working day and night. I applaud your staff. I just want to say to anyone, this is Buddy Bryan's role as the coroner, and I will support him 100% day and night. So, you know, people that's seeking status or looking for something to run for, this is not the seat. We have to keep, as we would say in the neighborhood, our homeboy in this job. He is doing a great job, and that we don't need any replacements. I know we're moving to political season, but people need to look somewhere else, because we need to keep you in this seat. We need to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful, because what you do is very, very stressful.
Well,
very
you know,
stressful.
I appreciate your friendship. That means a lot to me. And, you know, some people don't realize how having good friends makes a difference in your life.
Well, we're going to be cheering you on, and I'll stand with you 100%. I'm just one phone call away, whatever that means, good or bad.
Right.
You might not, some people don't want to be seen with me in public, but you will, so I
I'll stand
appreciate
up for
it.
you. I will.
All right, well, we're going to be standing with you, looking forward to the council supporting you and the things that you need. The city has really grown. We appreciate your wife and your children and your grandchildren sharing you with us, because when we are all asleep, you're out there doing the toughest of the jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and we want you to stay safe.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
appreciate it. This has been Straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.